Hi guys, today we're going to discuss some examples of feminism in our favorite series,
Harry Potter!
Before we start, I'd like to mention that the kind of feminism we'll be talking about today is the kind that views women in literature as just as necessary, interesting, and
equal.
exactly, in literature. And in our case, in the Harry Potter series.
So now, without further ado, let's get to it.
So, there are two very, 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 very different points of view on this series. Some people say it's sexist, and other people say it's feminist. We're taking the second point of view. One of the arguments against our view is that the female characters are weak in comparison to the male characters. And some of the examples of that are Ginny and Hermione. However, their weakness at the beginning of the series allows for growth throughout the rest of it. Just like in real life, women have room to grow, and so do men.
So, if at the beginning of the series Hermione is shown as being bossy, only caring about her good grade, and also needs to be saved by the boys from the troll in the bathroom, she grows to be an equal part of the main trio, and she proves her worth not through her physical strength, but through her intelligence. So, although she still feels fears throughout the whole series, at the end we can really see that she doesn't succumb to it anymore.
And after all, who doesn't have any fears? Man or woman. Ginny, on the other hand, is also shown as very, very weak at the beginning of the series. You know, she's a crushing little girl who likes Harry and follows him around everywhere. And also there's the Tom Riddle's diary incident that a lot of people blame her for, but I think they forget just how powerful Voldemort was, even when he was dead. But she overcomes everything that happens to her in her first year and ends up becoming one of the strongest witches in the series. After all, she nearly kills Bellatrix. She also helps Gryffindor to win the Quidditch House Cup in her 5th year, almost single-handedly.
A lot of critics also claim that most of the characters of the series that are evil are men, but I think they forget about Rita Skeeter, Umbridge, and Bellatrix Lestrange.
Rita Skeeter seems harmless enough, right? Just an annoying character who bugs Harry and Hermione saying that they're dating. But no, it's worse than that. Because the things she wrote in the Daily Prophet turned a lot of the members of the wizarding community against Harry and Dumbledore in a time they really needed support. Like when they wanted to prove that Voldemort was back. And also she dishonored Dumbledore with the novel she wrote, The Life and Lives of Albus Dumbledore. I mean, who do you think you are, Rita Skeeter? And even though the things she says seem harmless enough, they do say that the pen is mightier than the sword.
Or should we say the quill is mightier than the wand?
That's good.
So the next character on the list is Bellatrix Lestrange, my personal favorite. Yeah, I know, I'm weird. So a lot of people actually say that Bellatrix Lestrange is actually worse than Voldemort, because Voldemort really only kills for power, while Bellatrix just kills for fun. A great example of that is when she tortured Hermione just because she's a Muggle born.
And let's not forget, she tortured Neville Longbottom's parents. And finally, my personal least favorite character of the entire series, proving that women can be just as evil as men, Dolores Jane Umbridge. She is well known for her frilly pink bows and love of kittens, but underneath all that supposed adorableness, she's the worst person ever. I mean, she's evil, sadistic, cruel, and torturous. I mean, what is with those medieval punishments? I mean, even Stephen King, someone who knows quite a bit about evil and torture and all that good stuff, said that she was one of the worst characters to come into literature since Hannibal Lecter, who was a cannibalistic serial killer.
They're pretty close together, I think.
I agree. Dolores Umbridge
So even the evil feminine characters show very masculine traits of characters such as hatred, revenge, and aggression.
Whereas, on the other side, the male characters who are on the good side, like Harry and Dumbledore, they show very feminine qualities such as love, forgiveness, and compassion. For example, in The Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry spares Peter Pettigrew not for love for him, but in love of his godfather and Remus Lupin, because he doesn't want them to become murderers. Another argument against the feminist qualities of the Harry Potter series is that a lot of the characters have pink-collar jobs, which is the stereotyped jobs for women, like being a nurse or a teacher or a secretary. But that's not necessarily the case. One of the most accused characters for having a pink-collar job is Madame Pomfrey, the Hogwarts nurse. However, she plays just as vital of a role in the story as other teachers such as, I don't know, Professor Flitwick, for example. Because she saves Harry several times, Hermione when she gets petrified by the basilisk in the second novel, and even Ron when he gets bitten by Sirius Black in his dog form in The Prisoner of Azkaban. On the other hand, there's Madame Hooch, who has a very masculine job. She's the Quidditch coach and the flying teacher. So that's one example of a female character who has a non-stereotypical female job.
And then there are also characters such as Dolores Umbridge and Minerva McGonagall, who are shown as having a lot of power and very stand up for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, even though Dolores Umbridge is the worst person ever, there's no denying that she does have a very high-powered job in the Ministry for Magic. And finally, to drive our point home, girls don't need to pretend to be men or boys to be people. I mean, girls can like frilly pink things, and they can like gossiping, and they can like, I don't know, being a secretary, for example, just as boys can. And so I don't think that
is a really good point for saying that Harry Potter is not a feminist book.
There's also feminist characters in the novels who actually grasp that feminine ability to do things that men can't, such as give birth.
Yeah. For example, Molly Weasley is an awesome mother. She's raising 7 children on a light budget, and she's also the badass lady of the series. She kills Bellatrix, and that was the best scene of the series. We can say it, like,
for sure.
Awesome.
And this actually ties in with one of the first feminist writers, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. A lot of people theorize that she wrote Frankenstein because she wanted to talk about women's ability to give life. When Victor Frankenstein takes women out of the equation, well, let's just say some things go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So just because you're a woman doesn't mean you have to deny all the abilities and qualities of women to be valued in society.
So many critics might claim also that females are shown as being inferior in the series because they're mainly in groups rather than in an individual setting.
However, if you think about it, a lot of the male characters are just the same. James Potter, Sirius Black, Remus Lupin, Peter Pettigrew, that's one group. Then you get Seamus Finnegan and Dean Thomas, who are always together. They're like two peas in a pod. And then, of course, don't forget, there's Malfoy, Crabbe, and Goyle.
And then there's also on the other part, Luna Lovegood, who just loves to be alone, and she's not seen as a lower character because of it. In fact, she's a pretty cool character.
And for those female characters who do walk around in groups, it just shows that they have heightened social skills, and it doesn't make them any less of an individual. For example, Hermione Granger, even though she hangs out with Harry and Ron all the time, she's very clearly still her own person. Of course, these are only a few examples of feminism in the Harry Potter series, and there are many, many more to talk about.
Leave a comment down below to say if you agree or disagree with us.
In the meantime, thanks for watching our video. We'll leave you off with some of our favorite scenes from the movies.
Not my daughter, you bitch!
It's not his fault! No, he doesn't understand! Do something! Tell them I mean no harm!
I'm sorry, Professor. I must not tell lies.
What are you doing?